All right, guys, the Utah Jazz get a nice win against the Los Angeles Clippers. It's the Hoops Nerd post-game show. Let's talk about it. Okay, guys, before we start, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps the channel grow, so why wouldn't you want to do that? And also, you'll know when we have new videos up. Anyways, guys, for whatever reason, my secondary monitor went out. I had to buy a new cable. I had to spend a bunch of time on here figuring out what the deal was, and it's annoying. It's annoying, but we'll get that fixed. We'll get that cord soon and be back to normal. Luckily, we have this big monitor here that we can look at everything. Anyways, let's get into something that's actually interesting. The Jazz and Clippers played tonight. It was a rematch of the playoffs. The first half of this game, if you're a Jazz fan, is not particularly something you're going to be super excited about. The Clippers actually did a pretty good job. Honestly, the Clippers hit a ton of big shots and just tough shots. They have a lot of shot makers on their team, but they're playing without Nicholas Batum and Paul George, and obviously Kawhi Leonard, but I don't know if Kawhi Leonard's going to be playing anytime soon. But anyways, the Clippers showed why they're still a potent team and why they came into this game winning 4 straight. This wasn't an easy game by any means. Obviously, if you have Paul George, it's better, but this is a good team. They have guys that can make shots. Reggie Jackson, really nice player in the playoffs last year. He's been playing really well this year. Tonight, he was just 6 for 16 from the field. He did have 9 assists, though, and 5 rebounds. Terrence Mann, who strikes fear in the heart of every Jazz man, only scored 3 points. So is he being a ringer tonight? What's he doing? Is he trying to lull us Jazz fans to sleep to make us think that he won't come and destroy our soul by the end of this season? I don't think so. I don't know. But you know what? I will say you're not going to see Eric Bledsoe go 8 for 10 from the field and 4 for 5 from 3 every night. He did, 8 assists. Was this like the career night for Eric Bledsoe? Absolutely unreal for him to shoot like that. Unbelievable. So shout out to Eric Bledsoe and going 80% from the field and just absolutely torching the Jazz. But a lot of those shots were tough. But by the end of the game, the Jazz absolutely dominated. I don't really have a lot else to say other than that I'm actually really impressed with the Clippers this year. Some of it, I think, is the Western Conference is not as good this year as it was last year, and that's why they're probably benefiting from it. But I think they're like 6th in the West. Can't remember exactly, and I'm not going to take the time to look it up. All you trolls who write Google.com, I don't want to, all right? Just tell me in the comments where they are at. I will also say that I think Ty Lue is freaking awesome. He's just my kind of coach. The fact that he adjusts so much, he makes really good reads. I love his just like willingness to change rotations and get different guys out there. He's awesome. So if you're a Clippers fan, you got to be a fan of what you got in terms of rotations from your coach. All right, let's talk about the Jazz. This late night, 8 o'clock start time, and we're here to talk about the Jazz tonight. They, in the second half, looked amazing, but the person you've just got to be just over the moon with, if you're a Utah Jazz fan, is Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell tonight, he is just reaching a level right now. He's a top 10 player. He's unbelievable. Tonight, Donovan Mitchell was 10 for 15 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, so the 3 wasn't quite as efficient. He took 6 free throws, 5 for 6. And in this season, where their free throws are down, 6 free throws is awesome. You know, where it's tough to get a whistle this year, where they're just calling it much more. I actually like it because I think there's much more basketball plays happening. You don't have guys doing plays that are just to get Robert Hall of Fame with the nickname Dominant Mitchell. I might steal that, Robert. I might steal that. But you've got guys you've got the game being called, and guys aren't, using moves just to get to the free throw line like they were last year and for many, many years. And guys are actually playing basketball again. And so Donovan Mitchell is using how to get old school fouls, using physicality, going into the body of his man, and then finishing strong. I mean, Donovan Mitchell came into this league at 215 pounds. It was one of the most underrated things about him, because you have some of these guys like John Morant's like 175, maybe. Donovan Mitchell came into the league at 215. He is like, NFL running back body. He is like physical. He is strong. And the fact that he has so much balance, I mean, he's just such an incredible mixture of physical talent and then skill. He's unbelievable. And tonight it was on full display. 27 points. He led the team with a plus 29. He was 6 assists with 2 steals and just 3 turnovers. So a 2-to-1, it's like on Call of Duty. If you got a 2-to-1 kill death ratio, pretty good. Pretty good. When your assist to turnover ratio 6-to-3, let's see. That's awesome, especially when you consider that the ball is in Donovan Mitchell's hands at all times and they are putting their best defenders on him. I mean, you saw Terrence Mann going at him all night. That yawn wanted to get out, and we finally got it out. Anyways, I just can't get over his ability to just come in and take over a game. His shooting, he went 5 for 5 in the third quarter, was just dominant. Let's see. Did you all see the Spider-Man No Way Home commercial? I missed that. Was that on? I watched the ESPN broadcast. I don't know if you guys were on the AT&T. Anyways, just the fact that Donovan Mitchell can take over like this, he is at another level, and he's added the playmaking that is just, 6 assists for Donovan Mitchell is really nice in this spread shared offense. He was just finding guys. His passes were just on point, and he was making the right read. Just so impressed with Donovan Mitchell and what he's doing. He is absolutely one of the major parts of this Jazz team winning 8 straight, like Zintas mentioned. 8 straight wins. Big time stuff. This Jazz team is really, really good, guys. I didn't do a reaction to the Danny Ainge news. There was a game today after the bomb was dropped that Danny Ainge is running the Jazz, at least making the major decisions. I guess we can talk about it a little bit. I really like it. This is not a Jazz team that is going to not make moves and not use their assets to the most efficient level. The last 2 seasons, we have seen the Jazz use assets terribly. They've traded in 2 years. They've traded 2 first-round picks just to get rid of bad contracts. You're using picks just to get rid of contracts. Last year was like the first year they actually did something good with a first-round pick by drafting Jared Butler. I know Quinn Snyder is like allergic to playing him, and in his defense tonight, he was either out sick or just injured for whatever reason. But before that, it was just using first-round picks to like either draft Udoka and then using second-round picks to trade Tony Bradley. Just horrible, horrible asset usage. Danny Ainge will come in and no asset will go stale. There is 0 chance that the Jazz are going to look at someone like Derek Favors, who they should have knew before they signed him that he was not physically ready and physically capable. That was a terrible signing, and it was terrible what the Jazz had to do just to trade him away. It was awful, awful. And everyone loves Derek Favors, and I love Derek Favors, one of my favorite Jazz men ever. They should never have signed him because they should have known that was a bad contract. $10 million for a broken down backup center. And guess what? Utah this year, behind Justin Zanuck, who's done a good job, and that's the question I have. How good, or what does Justin Zanuck feel about all this? But you get a backup center in Hassan Whiteside, who's been awesome. And by the way, guys, I saw the comments. He's been awesome. Last game, Hassan and Rudy, H&R block, looks amazing. Looks fantastic. But anyways, it just proved that you can get a backup center for like $1.5 million. That's honestly a better backup and an upgrade to Derek Favors, who's making 10. Just, you say those things out loud and you want to lose your mind, So anyways, what you can expect is Danny Ainge is not going to make a bad deal like that. Absolutely not. And is going to use the assets to their maximum ability. No player on this team is going to be allowed to degrade. If it's time to make a move, it will happen. And sometimes that means a tough move. And I wrote about it on SLC Dunk. You can see my thoughts. I talked about it on the when I broke the news. Well, I didn't break the news. When I did the SLC Dunk news breaker, whatever you want to call it. And I just gave some thoughts. And I thought there were some interesting quotes. Danny Ainge thinks this team is close to being special. He didn't say they are special. He thinks they're close. Likely means that a move of some sort is going to happen. He also said that he is going to be someone that can come in and help Ryan Smith and other people make the tough decisions. So he thinks that a tough decision is coming. You guys are mentioning Bowler, Jack, and Thurl, who are actually really great. Buckle up. A move is going to happen. We saw the rumor. I think it was in a Bleacher Report article yesterday or the day before, but the Jazz are looking for a defensive-minded wing. That may happen. We'll see. But the nice thing is, after a game like tonight, we know that the Jazz are really, really good. Let's see. Robert Hall of Fame. Thank you, sir. $5. Does Ainge increase our chances this year? I think Zanuck will be fine if he isn't too bad. I think the Jazz are going to make some sort of move at trade deadline. It's coming up. I think the timing is interesting. Today actually is the day that a majority of like all the players that signed contracts last offseason, they can be traded. Interesting that today is the day they make that move for Ainge. Trade deadline is February 10th, so now Ainge is in place, and I think it's not a coincidence, one, that he's today for December 15th. So if they needed to make some sort of move and they wanted his consultation, he's there. And also, he's going to be able to acclimate by February 10th. You know, he'll be able to kind of work with Justin Zanuck, Quinn Snyder, I guess, although that's another dynamic that I think is really interesting, and Ryan Smith, and kind of look at this Jazz team, decide what they need to do to get to the next level, and then by February 10th, we might see something. My guess is we see some sort of move. We'll see, because I think this Jazz team is really, really good. And wouldn't you want this team, who tonight showed how good they can be, to just get to that next level? You know? Don't you want to, like, improve your chances? Some people have complained this channel talks about a lot about trades. Well, I want to win a championship, and I like talking about it. So, anyways, Bojan Bogdanovic has continued to just be a sniper from three. Tonight, Bojan Bogdanovic was 7 for 10 from the field, 6 for 7 from three. I love how quickly he is shooting that ball. He is just getting it and firing, and I love it. And it's great seeing him shoot that ball with quickness and knocking it down. He's at 40% for the season now. I looked at it, his last 5-6 games, he's at 42%, but that's just great consistency. Bojan is shooting the lights out, and that's what you need from him. And he's actually looking pretty decent defensively too. When he is defending, he is trying. Sometimes trying doesn't matter because you're playing against someone who can just out-quick you or overshoot you. But he tries, and that's what you want. And I think the Jazz have some defensive rebounding deficiencies, but they did a pretty decent job tonight. Let's just look at it. Defensive rebounds for the Jazz, 44 compared to 24 for the Clippers. Holy smokes. And that's part of the reason why they won this game. The Jazz couldn't rebound in that series. That was part of, we'll talk about perimeter defense, and that's something the Jazz do need to improve. But they couldn't rebound the ball, remember, in that series. It drove me crazy, and I remember talking about it with you guys. It was nuts. And so it's nice to see the Jazz have a plus 20 rebounding advantage over the Clippers. Let's see. Actually, 42 to the Clippers, 44 for the Jazz. So, actually, never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. So, a slight advantage. You would hope that the Jazz would have a better advantage than that against the small ball Clippers team, who are playing pretty small. Small. This is the analysis you come here for. But yeah, 2 rebound advantage, not my favorite thing. Honestly, there's a few little red flags with this game. You should be out rebounding them much better than that. And the Clippers were pretty close in this one. The Jazz are at full strength. Sorry, guys. The Clippers are not at full strength. No Paul George, no Nicholas Batum. And the Jazz were behind by 8 at one point. And it was midway through the game. They did pull out and pull it off and run away with it at the end. But you would like to see not that. And maybe that's nitpicky because this Jazz team is winning so many games right now. They're winning a lot and really just blowing teams out. And there's some interesting statistics with, how many times the Jazz have won by 20 points or more and by 10 points or more. And the Jazz are just at an incredible level. The offense right now for the Jazz is just bonkers. We talked about it before. They're at 117, give or take. And second place team is 112. And if there was a graph I saw today, the Jazz the space between the Jazz and the second place team is like the same as the second place team to like the 20th team. It's bonkers. The Jazz offense is unbelievable. I do think that having an offense that is that good, and we saw it tonight, having an offense at that level and just that far ahead means that maybe you've got a cushion to make some sort of move for someone who's not maybe the best shooter out there, you know? So maybe you can find some guy. And honestly, the Jazz have a first round pick that's pretty interesting. I think they can't really trade a first round pick till like 2026 or 7, which is when, if Donovan Mitchell leaves, that's when the pick would convey, which is pretty scary if you're the Jazz. But if you're another team, that first round pick looks pretty good, like pretty great. And so you might be able to get something really nice for that. Maybe you can package a few things and go get someone really good. I don't know. Jeremy Grant is apparently for sale. So can you go out and trade for him? I don't know. X marks the spot. You aren't at full strength either, James. Go to bed. No, not till we're done. Not till that driveway is shoveled, right? You go out there and you shovel the driveway. You start the show. You finish the show. A few yawns. What are you going to do? 8 o'clock start time. That's what happens to me. Hassan Whiteside looked awesome tonight, guys. He looked like a guy that was auditioning for his new CEO and alternate governor. But anyways, he was 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. By the way, I think he's like having an awesome year free throw wise. That's been kind of nice. 7 rebounds, 11 points. Whiteside just puts up numbers, but honestly, he passes the eye test in a lot of ways. And I just love his physicality. I love that he stands up to guys. I love that he like jaws with guys and you know, overly celebrates to get under people's skin. I love Hassan Whiteside. He's fantastic. He's great. It's time for that Jordan Clarkson check-in of the night. Tonight, Jordan Clarkson, 8 for 14 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 21 points with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Clarkson was awesome tonight. And I actually think Clarkson is a guy you want to keep. Of all the trades the Jazz can make, Clarkson to me is I don't know. He's that guy that can get you a game. He can have a big night that can help you. And what I've been really happy with is that it feels like his playmaking has been getting better. He's making better reads and passes. He was better in the first half than the second, but he is just, I don't know. I really like what I'm seeing from Clarkson, and it honestly feels like he makes a defensive play every game that makes you go, holy smokes. Like he'll get a block or a steal or something. Gosh dang it. I thought about a yawn, and now I want to yawn again. But anyways, it was really nice to see Jordan Clarkson have a nice game, and he's been playing at a higher level lately. He had that rough start to the season where he just couldn't hit a shot, and literally some games just could not hit a shot. And he's really like, his efficiency has gone up. He looks great. He was a plus 12 for the game. No, stop it. Joe Ingles did not have a very great night, shooting 1 for 5 from 3. He only took threes and 5 assists. It's funny how he can always find a way to get those assists, though. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is Antetokounmpo. Is that what that is? But anyways, guys, I got really, by the way, I don't even care. I'm going to talk about it. I shoveled my driveway. I was really proud of myself. I got the snowblower to work. I was a little nervous there for a minute. I kept pulling that cord, and then I eventually made it happen. Woo! 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 Got that snowblower to work. And then I shoveled the driveway. And yes, I am a little chubby, and I got a little tired. But guess what? We powered through. All right? Like Donovan Mitchell in the third quarter, James bent over, belly hanging over, and he said, I'm gonna pull away on this driveway. And I pulled away like a chubby Donovan Mitchell with T-Rex arms and about a 24% body fat and 15 pounds to go till the goal weight before we start lifting the weights and pretend like we're actually going to do that. All right. We're getting there. Guys, I want to reiterate that I'm very annoyed that my secondary monitor is blank right now. Usually I'm looking this way at my secondary monitor, and my main monitor is right here. This is probably because I'm tired we're even talking about this, but I'm annoyed because I like to look here and then here. But now I have to look here and then here, and it's throwing me off, all right? Because my microphone's right here, and I'm looking through a microphone. I think this is time we end the show. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guess what? Not only am I yawning tonight, but I forgot to pull it up. Oh, give me just a minute, guys. I got to give a shout out to the All-Stars. These are the guys that are here right now watching. They're the best people on the planet. There's literally not a better person in this world than the... Oh, my gosh! Vincent. With the... From the top ropes, Vincent jumps in. $20 from Vincent. Thank you, Vincent. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it. My contribution amounts to the amount of consecutive games we will win after tonight. And throwing in the name Ben McLemore. Maybe we'll go get Ben McLemore. Is that what you're mentioning, Vincent? Either way, I could see the Jazz winning 20 straight. The Jazz right now are playing at an elite level. They have a guy in Donovan Mitchell who's top 10 and really should be getting some MVP votes. He should absolutely get all NBA. So everything is just working out really great for Utah. One, they're winning games. They're playing well. They look like they're defending a little better. And Donovan Mitchell looks like an all NBA guy. You'll have Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell all NBA. And Rudy Gobert might win Defensive Player of the Year again. It's getting very hard for Zach Lowe to not appreciate Rudy Gobert. But he will eventually have to come around again and realize that Rudy Gobert is incredible. And Donovan Mitchell is all NBA. And guess what? Every single Jazz fan, you should do your Jazz prayers, or if you don't pray, you should do your Jazz voodoo. I don't know if that's a form of prayer. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But whatever you could do, Donovan Mitchell needs all NBA, guys. They need Donovan Mitchell to make all NBA. Why? So you can give him the Supermax. So that it is another reason to keep him in Utah with the Jazz, because he is one of the most important players the Jazz have ever done. Jazz, James, do some rapping for us? Do you want me to go get a present and put some paper on it? Is that what you're saying? Anyways, we need Donovan Mitchell to get all NBA, because then you can offer him the Supermax, and that is what you want to do. All right, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars, the ones that make it happen. Give a shout out to Baby Elliott Manson. X marks the spot for Zintis. Jordan the Goat Best Roll. Ryan Perry the Legend. Joshua Hansen the Danish Destroyer. And one Anton Warren. Ezekiel Rice-Sibe, the man from down under. Bucket. JT Buckets Wardell. Austin R. Grant. Editor extraordinaire. Eric C. The C stands for champion. Donald Schooley schooling all of us. DW to CB. Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo, Lee Christensen driving the lane, Justin Ty H, Patrick Kubo the connoisseur, Robert Hall of Fame, and DW Jazz going all the way. Guys, if you haven't already, if you're still here, like and subscribe to the channel. The Jazz need to just keep doing what they're doing. Every player right now, it felt like watching it tonight, is auditioning for their new guy. And to show how important they are, because you want to be a part of this Jazz team. I tell you what, really nice to see the Jazz dominate like they did. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. I will